This is not the beginning. It is the recalling. Know before you lean closer that this is not a tale sung in halls or whispered at hearths. This is the memory of a shadow that should not exist, a crossing of realms, a birth of terror. I thought record it because someone must, and because the world trembles when such things are forgotten. Watch closely, listen, perhaps even feel the smoke curl around your senses as it did that night in hell. Creon was no stranger to power, yet he had never known the weight of infinity. He held the title of devil, not by inheritance, but by the ruin of others. When Lucifer fell, murdered by ambition and betrayal, the throne of hell lay open, and he seized it with hands unsoiled by gods. Unlike those who came before, Creon answered to none. No divine overseer, no celestial command. He was the firstborn of death itself, and his dominion was as absolute as it was feared. He walked among hell's halls with a quiet menace, smoke curling from his fingers like serpents in repose. Demons who dared challenge him found themselves bound in agonies conjured from his own design. Lungs choked with ethereal mist, skin sealed in veils of smoldering ash, eyes drawn into smoke-filled visions from which they never woke. It was not cruelty for cruelty's sake. It was the articulation of power, the language of dominion. But the fog. The fog had always been something else. He had seen it drift along hell's borders, a restless, unformed presence, neither demon nor deity, merely a something, always moving just beyond reach. Tonight, curiosity, that insidious whisper, drew him closer. It was near the sulphurous pits that he first felt it, not as threat, but as recognition. The air thickened. Shadows gathered, not in fear of him, but in expectation. Smoke and fog danced together like dancers circling a king. And then it spoke. Not one voice, but many, an impossible choir of whispers that grazed the edges of comprehension. Creon stepped forward, the crown of hell, once a rigid circlet of jagged black iron, twisting in response. It melded into the rising tendrils of fog, shaping and reshaping itself. A crown of smoke and shadow that refused permanence, yet bore his command. The voices surged. They were everywhere, yet nowhere, and Creon felt an unfamiliar stir within his chest. Hunger, not for dominion over demons, but for more, for the limitless, for a power that even death itself could not provide. You have not come for amusement, he said, and three voices spoke through him at once. One was his own, deep and commanding. One was ancient, drifting in from timelessness. And one was a third, unknown, layered between the other two, so subtle that to hear it was to question your own perception of reality. What do you seek? The fog shifted, curling like smoke in a storm, tendrils brushing against his arms, threading through his hair, coiling around his fingers. We seek what is denied. We seek